Hello, welcome in. I am your host, Bobby Socks. If you are new here, this is what we host weekly. It is a weekly podcast slash scrim adventure with two guests each week. Yes, I know, I screwed up the title. What is a podcast without a couple of hiccups every once in a while? I'm going to unmute in a second, but I kind of wanted to go over it a little bit first. If you guys have questions in chat, feel free to type them and I will ask the guests as we go throughout. Otherwise, we're going to do about an hour of talking and then an hour of practical scrims and bringing in guests of the week. Make sure to hang out for both portions. There's a ton of information, ton of help, and you get a chance to talk to these guys. So let's get it popping. Let's unmute these guys. Gentlemen, how's it going?
How's it going?
Welcome in. So the way we're going to kick this off is you guys are going to introduce yourselves. What makes you both tick? It could be in-game, out-of-game. What do you like to do?
You want to go first?
You can go, Div. You can, man.
Well, I would say what keeps me going for this game, playing the game, and I'm assuming we're talking about the game, not like my as a person.
No, it's in general. Like, what do you like to do? This is a chance for the viewers to get a chance to know you guys on a more personal level.
What do I like to do? I mean, I just play video games, or like even when I'm not like streaming and playing Destiny 2, I just play video games. I do watch shows sometimes, but I don't know. When you ask like a question like that, like what makes me tick, like I don't know what makes me tick sometimes. Like that's can get a little dark, but in terms of playing the game, I do it because what I do for a living at the moment, and I enjoy the game a lot. I definitely have a deep love for it. Not to say that it's something else right now.
Oh yeah,
my opinion.
I agree. Diffizzle, did you play D1? Like, are you a D1 guy from back in the day?
Yeah, I played D.
Yeah, I think the game has it's definitely
don't
morphed
worry.
into something new.
Yeah, we'll get into all that, the D1 stuff, the things we like, things we don't like, things we need adjustments to, stuff like, or we feel would need adjustments to it.
True.
That's all it's all in the head right here. So, all right, Diffizzle, you can play games, dig it. You watch shows, very specific.
Yeah, I mean, I do things that are, in my apartment.
Sure.
Outside of, playing Destiny 2 and streaming that.
Sure, I dig it.
Yeah.
All right, Flakes, what you got? Who are you? What makes you tick? What do you do?
Well, I'm with Diffizzle on that. I play a bunch of games, and I invited a lot of the people from my community into the stream. And if anybody knows me, like, I don't think I'm the most cracked Destiny player in the world, but I like to keep things positive. I like to keep things fun. I find that I don't know. I just get a lot of positivity out of my streams and stuff, and I don't know. I try to keep things happy. I do like PvP as an aspect of Destiny, and that's what I find to be more fun than any other aspect of the game. But like I said earlier, I feel like it's morphed a little bit, and we'll get into that. But other than that, I don't know. I've got all-white Siberian Husky that I love to death, and sometimes she even makes it into the stream. Got a baby on the way next month.
Congrats.
So that's
dude.
a thing. Yeah, I'm gonna be a Destiny dad. I guess I got to start using a pulse rifle now. I don't know what else to say. Like that's pretty much all I got. I've played Destiny since D1. I've always loved the game. I've loved Bungie. But things always sometimes get a little bit upsetting when they don't live up to all the hype. That type of thing. But
I feel that.
Yeah.
All right, let's start diving into the nitty gritty. I mean, I guess I could introduce myself. I did it to chat already, but I am Bobby Socks. I am a part-time streamer, entertainer, full-time data center operations manager, and I have 3 kids. So I definitely have the excuse to crouch a pulse rifle if I want to.
Do you have boys or girls, or what do you have?
3
What's
girls.
the distribution there? 3. Oh,
3.
I'm having a girl too,
bro. 3
now,
girls is
I
an
get-
adventure.
I gotta ask, since I'm having a girl, like, would it be? Do you think having a girl's like less intimidating than having a boy, like less pressure, or would you rather have a boy? Like, you wish you had a boy?
You know, I make the jokes all the time. Yeah, it's pain I have 3 girls, but there's a special bond that fathers have with their daughters. My girls light up when I walk in the house from work. They light up when I'm, talking them into bed. It's a different experience. It really is. And I mean, like, I don't restrict my girls to like doing just girly things. Like both of them, or 2 of my olders, are in martial arts and learning like Muay Thai, and they play games with me on the weekends. And so it's like the whole boy girl thing is kind of overrated, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Sure, I feel you. I'm just,
Yeah.
It's next month for me, and it's my first kid, so it's like it's scary as hell. But
oh, dude,
I feel you.
The wife and I rank things by how many what's the word I'm looking for? How many counseling sessions it's gonna take. We're like, so I did a thing today, and I'm like, all right, 1 counseling session, 2 counseling sessions, or 3 to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the center point for what's going on. But overall, raising girls is fun, man. It really is. Everything that I hear anyway is until they get older, like girls are easier to raise until teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
Boys are easier to raise after. And I'm holding on to that.
Okay. All right. I feel you. Sorry, I know that's not what this is about. I figured I'd ask you since you said you had 3 chicks.
This is a chance to get to know people on a deeper level than just games. That's why I asked.
How many do you want? Just 3, or do you want?
Oh, dude, I'm so done. There's no way I'm risking another one.
Yo, Diffizzle, do you want kids someday?
Yeah, I want kids someday. Yeah. I think the most I would want 2.
2. I think I'm the same way. We're gonna start with 1 to see how that goes. But I think 2 would be the max for me.
Yeah. My running joke is 1 was a surprise. Second one was planned. Third one was planned by her.
Oh, but not you. Oh no. Alright.
It was a bottle of wine later, and that's why I don't drink wine.
Oh no.
And welcome
She's
to Bobby's
the
Corner.
imposter. Oh god, she got you. She got you, man.
She was talking about it for a while, so it was I was a little loosened up, if that makes sense. The wine trap, exactly. All right, there's our little TED Talk starting out. Thanks you guys for coming. We're gonna end it here. Let's roll into the Destiny. So let's talk mains. What mains do you guys do? Characters, classes? What's got your vibe?
I guess I'll go first.
Sure.
I've been playing Hunter for, a while. Since the beta of Destiny 1, I've been playing Hunter. I think everyone pretty much started on Goldie. And I switched to Blade Dancer in early year 1 of Destiny. I pretty much mained it through the entirety of Destiny 1's lifespan because I just really loved like Blink Shoddy. It's like my favorite entire time. And if they had it in this game on Hunter, I would use it too, but it's only on Warlock, unfortunately. So I find myself playing Spectral Blades on Hunter nowadays. In Trials, I use Stasis because it's broken. Yeah, very overpowered. The worst thing ever added game.
Don't worry, we'll get into that.
Yeah, but I just love Hunter. That's one thing that is like my favorite thing about this is I love the art style. I'm very picky about that. The art style of the game is something that I resonate with. Like for example, like a game like Dark Souls, I'm not really a fan of that art style, but this game I enjoy the art style a lot, and I'm very passionate about it.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons I like Hunter, and I think a lot of people like Hunter is because it's probably one of the more like cooler looking characters that you can play in the game.
I agree.
100%. 100. The best looking. 100%.
You mean you don't like dresses and
that's
stacked
that's
cows?
completely down to opinion, but that's just my opinion.
All right. Flakes, what you got?
So I'm with him on that. So I didn't play D1 since the beta, but ever since I picked up D1 and played trials with some homies back in the day, and I was on PSN, I played Hunter. And I think the meta back then was Blade Dance. It was absolutely amazing. I just felt like all the classes back then were so powerful compared to how they are now. Like even compared to Spectral Blades, like back then, Blade Dancer was just amazing in comparison. And I'm with Diffizzle on that. Like I think Hunters have the best play style, or not the best, but the one that I vibe with most. And I like the way they look too. But yeah, you have to go Hunter 100% all the way.
Well, shit. That means that I'm gonna have to play Warlock for these scrims, and I'm not happy about it. So I am since D1's, this is my nice little flex to the guests each week. Since the D1 alpha test, I have been a Hunter main. And I only built a Titan D1 to do King's Fall Sherpas because nobody ever had Weapons of Light. But I have clocked something stupid like 3,000 hours on a Hunter between just in D2 and like 100 hours on the other two classes. Maybe combined.
That's impressive.
Yeah, Hunter's my love.
I feel like when people venture out from Hunter, usually they go like Top Tree Dawn, if I had to guess. Like, were you guys the same way? That's at least the path I went. Like, if I had to pick a second that wasn't Hunter, it'd be Top Tree Dawn, 100%. I can't play Titan for like the life of me.
No, so I actually went Nova Bomb, Devour. I went Devour Nova because I play aggressive, so I get that shotgun off with the lightweight and then punch and get my health back. That was my go-to anyway. I don't know what it is about Dawn. I try and stick a little bit out of the mold for the most part, but obviously it doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Diffizzle, what's your follow-up on your secondary?
Yeah.
On my secondary, what do you mean? Like what I would play this time?
Yeah, like what other class do you play?
Like if you had to pick a second that wasn't Hunter.
I mean, yeah, probably Top Tree Dawn. I think the top three best classes right now are Icefall Slam, like the Revenant rather, Behemoth. Top Tree Dawn is probably like the best light subclass.
Agreed.
For neutral game.
Yeah, its super's kind of cheeks, but
yeah.
You got your loaded questions for scrim time? Hell yeah, let's go. All right, so now for the fun part, because you guys are both hunters, what's one thing you want to see buffed with a hunter, and what's one thing you want to see nerfed?
Oh, every other class except stasis. I don't know, like I just feel like you can't use anything but the stasis subclass. It's busted. It absolutely is. Nothing else compares. And that's what I don't like about it, because that's like the anti-definition of balance. I don't know if Diffizzle would agree with that, but like I think anything like I don't know. They need to look at the light classes for sure, and look at buffing them and making them more usable 100%, as opposed to just everybody's shatter diving. And I hate to say it, even after the nerf, it's still kind of busted.
Fair. Diffizzle, what you got?
All right, yeah, I was waiting for him to finish. Okay, so to answer your question, what would I like buff? I would like for them to revert the nerf that they made to the dodge cooldown because it makes no sense. It's stupid. Actually, like, it's
I
one
like
of
it.
those nerfs
Very specific.
where, yeah, well, no, I know, I think about these things very often, unfortunately. But it was one of those nerfs that I felt was just like a slap in the face. Like, no one was sitting there saying, wow, Hunter dodge cooldowns are so overpowered. That really, or maybe if they were to keep the nerf, maybe just Warlock. Like, maybe the Icarus dash, that is 100 times more like useful and like has more utility than a Hunter dodge. Maybe that should get a nerf too if we're gonna nerf Hunter dodge. Like, okay, just to answer that question though, definitely that nerf on Hunter dodge, that would be the buff. And honestly, the thing to like put a blanket nerf on Hunters, I'm not even sure what that would be, because I mean, some of the Hunter subclasses are really bad.
Right.
I'm trying really hard to think of what a blanket nerf would be. I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Diffizzle, you're being summoned in chat.
I can agree. Like, I don't feel like anything's overpowered about Hunter except Shatter Dive, like as a whole class.
Okay. So I got in an argument on Twitter. Go figure, right? For the last 2 weeks or so, we've been doing the anti-stasis army on stream. And the whole purpose behind it is the entire team, 6-stack in quick play, cannot run stasis. Can't run stasis, can't run 120s. And you got to see if you can win. And most of the time we did. And then I got in an argument on Twitter with this guy because I was like, well, I've been running spec blades. And he's like, spec blades are OP. Do you guys feel that spec blades are still obviously viable in this meta?
I think it's the only Hunter subclass besides stasis that is. I mean, I guess you could get away with arc, but I don't know. I feel like the invisibility gives you just that little bit of extra edge to where you can actually use the super and, I don't know, maybe get away with not getting frozen.
Sure.
I don't know.
Spectral is okay. It's always been okay. Or not always. When it was first released, it was shit or bad.
Right. No, you're fine.
It was not good. It was very, very bad. But when they buffed it, it was the best super in the game. Currently, and it has been this way for a couple of seasons now, I think it's one of those supers where it has like the skill ceiling and floor isn't too drastic, but it's one of those supers where if you're stupid about how you use it, and you could say this about any super, but I feel like especially with spec, if you're not smart, you'll probably die.
Right.
And if you're dumb about how you push it, you'll probably die. So you just have to be smart about how you like decide to fight it. Because I think sitting there and saying like it's overpowered, like it's not. If you're playing a good competent team, or if you're a good competent player, you're going to know how to like handle it the best way you can.
How to baby it.
And all it takes is 2 headshots with a 120 and a shotgun melee, and it's dead. Or 2 headshots with a 120 and a shotgun to the head instead. Like it doesn't have a lot of health. It's not very tanky. It does have a long duration, but for a super, at least, has a relatively long duration.
I feel like for the general population, I could see how that could come about. Like, people are like, oh, that's overpowered, because you pop spec, you can get, I don't know, you can get 4 or 5 kills if people don't know how to shut you down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not the super's fault or the class's fault.
Right, I agree.
The general population is not. Like,
they don't know how to play against it.
No, that's that's objectively not the super's fault. That is their fault.
Yep, I agree. Which is fantastic to hear, because we've had some Titans on here that are like, spec blade needs nerf, stasis needs nerf.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're entitled to those opinions. That's fine.
Right.
True.
And that's kind of why we do this is
But
to get your guys' opinions on
my
class.
only point by saying that is sometimes we, like, as people who like only play trials every weekend and everything, we lose sort of touch with the general people that just have to play the game every day or whatever, and they're like, oh my god, that's busted, because they get wrecked by it or something. And yeah, at upper levels, like spec blades will get shut down quite a bit.
Yep.
For pushing in and not knowing what they're getting into type thing.
Right.
But for like general people who are just like casual players that hop into the game, like they might see a different side of it because, you know, they don't know.
So
and it's always good to think about that too.
Oh, absolutely. We get a question from Lycan. He says, how do you guys feel about 6-shot Goldie, especially with that new exotic? Do you think it's viable in these metas, or do you think the exotic was just as a teaser to get some cool clips going? What is that, the Apterus?
What exotic are you referring to? Are you referring to the throwing knife exotic? That doesn't help
that one.
6-shot, I don't believe.
It doesn't. It just adds like a ton of tracking.
Apterus is just for 3-shot? Okay.
Yeah. It's for the weighted throwing.
Got it.
It gives, I mean, it gives the thing aimbot for sure.
Right. Do you think that's viable? And what do you think would need? Let me rephrase this question a little bit. What do you think would need to be changed to make Goldie more viable in these metas?
That's actually a good question. I don't know.
They would need to increase duration.
Okay.
What do you think, Diffizzle? What do you think about like armor during the super? Do you think it's still over like?
I see. The thing is like what armor would you give to it? You know,
I
like,
don't know.
That's why I said this duration, because she if they do have a 1-shot golden gun, the biggest problem with golden gun is that currently if you pop golden gun, like let's say you're like sitting outside on like burnout rather, and there's someone inside with a spec. Obviously it's, you know, risky to push that regardless, like for you to go inside on a spec or like a dawn blade or anything risky. But on top of the fact that it is risky, your duration is shorter than theirs, so they can just sit there, wait for you to run out, and then push. And that is currently the issue with Goldie, is pretty much every roaming super in the game besides it can outlast. And
that's actually, I agree
Absolutely.
with that. Holy crap, I do.
I mean, it's a fact. It's literally it's a fact.
Well, it's just something you don't see often because golden guns aren't ran as often, you know?
Yeah, no.
They're more of a clip hitting type playstyle than a clutch up in something like Trials, right? Especially in this setup.
It's more of an like you can't give people the time to think about like you popping golden gun. If you pop golden gun and people are like, oh, I know exactly where he's at, I know exactly how to hide from this, then you're in trouble. You literally have to slide out with your golden gun like into a lane and just hit your shots, and you have to push hard. And if they have another super, like Diffizzle was saying, it's like, dude, they could just pop it and then just hang out. Literally just hang out and wait for you to turn a corner and then just poop on you.
True.
Like, that's the problem with it. I think I actually agree. Like, increase the duration, make that more of a decision that needs to be made. They can't just be like, oh, I popped my super, I'm going to outlast this, and then I'm going to push type thing. Like, I think that would be good too. Like, definitely increase duration.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. They could maybe even just increase it by like 3 or 4 seconds, and I think that would probably make the super a whole lot better, in my opinion.
Definitely make it more viable.
But
for
if you shoot, maybe it would take away a lot more of the super type thing.
No, I think see, the thing is even with that buff to Goldie, I don't think Goldie would be used over other things. Like, it would be better, but it still would be bad. Like, that's kind of just, Goldie's just really, really bad for a lot of reasons. Like, you can just run from it. Like, it's just another extra 4 seconds you need to hide is all it is, really.
True. Yep. I would agree with everything there, except if you are bottom tree and you are good at hitting those throwing knives, that can be kind of nasty, like kind of impressive even.
But I mean that's
High skill.
Yeah, exactly, and that's to me that's fine personally. Like I don't think that buff, like let's just say theoretically 4 seconds being added to the duration of Golden Gun, I don't think that would be something that is as oppressive as Shatter Dive.
Yeah, I agree.
True.
So that's what I was saying. Like even with that buff, that theoretical
you would
buff,
still run Shatter. People would still run Shatter over
it would still be Goldie would still be like one of the last things you want to play, even with that buff. So
agreed. I'm trying to catch up. There was a question that was asked, but I have to figure out where the shit it was at. I lost it. Chat, if you're new here from Mactic Stream or from Panda Stream, this is a weekly podcast we do called Scrim School. It's your chance to ask these guests questions each week. So if you have some questions, feel free to type. Just like what Weather asked, what would make what would make Sentinel more viable in scrims? That's a good one. What would make Sentinel Titan more viable in scrims?
What tree is Sentinel? Middle or top?
I believe it's middle tree.
Okay. Well, I mean, middle is already like the best class in my opinion, besides bottom striker, I think, or is it top react?
Yeah, middle or bottom. What would make it more viable in something like a scrim or a face-it setting, though?
I mean, it's already really viable, actually. Like I said, it's already like I could tell you things that would make it better, but it's already like if you're a Titan, it's either you are like just in a face-it setting because Stasis Titan's banned.
Yep.
In that setting, like it's already something that is like pretty widely used, I think, amongst Titans besides Striker.
Okay.
Like whenever I play Titan, if I do not have Stasis Titan, I play Middle Tree, because Middle Tree, if you have your super when you pop Middle Tree, the other, like let's say I have Middle Tree Sentinel and there's Spectral Blades, that spec, if we both pop at the same time, that Spectral's fucked. Like there's nothing he can do. He can't kill me. All I have to do is block. And the neutral game is probably where it lacks, and that's not that bad either. It's it's not like insane like top tree on neutral game, but it's not bad.
True. I
can definitely see where like top tree Sentinel leaves something to be desired, because you kind of just the bubble. That's basically it. Yep. I think bubble is banned. Face it. Actually,
fFlakes, you got anything to add?
No, I think he nailed it for real. I don't think there's anything wrong with the neutral game. I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's if you're a really good player and you practice that forever, I mean, you might even be able to bring people out of their supers with suppression nades and things like that. It's a really strong super, like he said. All you got to do is block. I don't play much Titan, but at the end of the day, it's like everything's there. But it doesn't have anything that really stands out. And I think that's where the question is coming from. They're not like, oh man, this is OP about it. And it doesn't. It's a solid class, but there's nothing that's like over the top about it. If you're really good with it, it's going to be viable. If you're not, I would look at something that might be easier, like a Shatter Dive Hunter. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing I could add.
True. All right, Mad. I found the question. I
kind of wanted.
Go ahead.
He has another question alluding to that question. He said, "Why run it over Striker?" The thing about Striker is you can't consistently counter other supers with it. And the one thing right now about Middle Tree Titan is with the stasis supers you can get frozen while you're blocking, so that kind of like fucks things up. But before that, it was literally a free shutdown. Like I said, if someone popped their super, it's almost like impossible to die in Middle Tree Sentinel. Like you should almost never die in it. It's like a free kill or two, and it's basically a free shutdown, and that is the appeal of the class to me, personally. That's what I think the appeal is.
True.
And that's why I would run it over Striker, because Striker versus Spectral is not, it's a 50-50, whereas like a Sentinel versus a military Sentinel versus a Spectral is like a 80-20. There's
Yep.
like no way you should lose that.
That's very true. All right, I figured out the question that I missed. Mad 'cause Mad asked, what Rezil should each class run considering the 120 meta?
5, right?
Yeah, 50.
50 at least.
At least 50?
That's no, there's no question about it. At least 50. You can survive 1 headshot, 2 bodies.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
No question.
All right, like and
Next
roll it
question.
back. Next question. Lock it down. At least 5. You got that? All right. Like and rolled it back with Goldie. He says, I have an idea. You would have a 10-second timer at the top end of Goldie that disappears if you fire a shot during it, making the max duration 20 seconds, but the effective duration is only 10. So you have like a 10 seconds to run around and then 10 seconds of actual super time. Do you think that'd make it more viable?
I think Diffizzle nailed that one earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even understand what he's saying.
Like as soon as you fire your first shot, like the timer goes down to like 2 seconds or something. Like you have to expend all your bullets in a small amount of time and then the super's over type thing. But you can roam around with it for a long time type thing.
Oh, okay, so you don't like actually like you like have your gun holstered basically, and then when you want to fire it, you have like 2 seconds.
Right, but it gives everybody on the map the sound of you popping. Like everybody knows you popped it, but you can roam around for a decent amount of time, and then as soon as you fire, it
shortens the duration.
timer goes down.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think that would make it more viable, or do you think it's still just rough?
No. I the thing with Goldie is it's just it will always suffer from this issue no matter how much you buff it or like change it. It's squishy, and that's pretty much where the issue lies. Like it's a squishy class, and there's a lot of ways to close the gap. And the bottom line is, if you're going to use Goldie, you need to make sure that it's a open space and that you're able to hit your shots, and that you are not close to a corner.
It's only viable on certain maps. Like Pacifica, 0% chance I would have ever used Goldie. I wouldn't have used Goldie anyway, but like it's for certain maps, 100%.
Sure. Makes sense. All right. Zekatron says, how could Nova Warp become more usable or make it an actual option in PvP? And don't just say revert the change. Because
I was gonna say,
previous
you got
Nova
a time
Warp
machine?
was rough. Dude, that shit was so ridiculous.
I think handheld Supernova is probably in a good spot right now. Man, I just don't know that one. That's one of those classes where maybe just make the like fuck. That's like I said, that's a tough one. I don't know. The thing is you'd want to buff it, but you don't want it to be like better than everything else.
True.
I think the issue lies with the super. The melee is really good. If you pair the melee with what is it? The poison gauntlets. I can't remember the name off the top of my head at the moment.
Necrotic drips?
Yeah, necrotic grip. If you pair them with necrotic grip, it's a one-hit melee when you have the melee charged. So that's not bad, obviously. But I don't know. The biggest thing is the super. The super is just so like bad. Like it's actually one of the worst supers in the entire game. Like I don't.
So easy to shut down.
Right.
Yeah, I can't think of a super that's worse. I would say maybe top tree tether and like bottom tree tether is probably worse. And the reason I think those are better, or wait, I think it's never mind. But I think that is probably the worst one. But I think those ones are like just as bad, but a little bit better because of the fact that they're like using them is a lot easier because you just fire one like bow or one arrow rather, and that's it.
Sure. All right.
I don't know.
I agree. I really do. I think the neutral game on Nova Warp is great. Handheld Supernova, I'm so glad that it got nerfed. That was the most obnoxious thing to play against. Nova Warp, I'd like to say that it's trash, but I match against Haru and Giggs a lot, and they run it, and I get shit on. I can't even. Haru kills me 3 times in one quick play game with freaking Nova Orb. It drives me insane. I just can't beat him on it, but that's obviously a difference in skill set. So I think that's got kind of a skill ceiling as well. But let's keep it rolling. Weather asked a really good question that actually pertains to tonight. What are tips for people looking to get into scrims about map awareness and movement?
Oof.
The biggest thing about that and about scrims in general is like a lot of those things you can't really teach someone. They
Mhm.
need to learn it themselves. Like you learn map, movement from playing and remembering like, hey, there's usually a person that peeks this, or people tend to peek this area or sit around this corner, or it's situational things that happen time and time again.
You have microseconds to make those decisions too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not. It is really putting in the hours, and that is a meme among my community because we met somebody. We constantly meet people. Like somebody came into my chat and they were like, "Oh, I put in the hours. I started last season because they beat me in trials," and I was like, "Really? That's interesting."
Last
Anyway,
season?
yeah, no, it really is about putting in the hours though, and like map awareness, like you can look up videos on how to read your radar and stuff and like how far away somebody is, but I've honestly known people who have like no idea how far away somebody is from reading the radar and stuff, and they are badass PvP players. Like there's no like formula or method or anything. You just gotta play, you gotta get wrecked, and then eventually you'll get better because you got wrecked. You just gotta constantly commit to actually getting better. I mean, I'm still doing it even. I don't think I'm the greatest PvP player like ever or anything like that, but like you just got to keep trying to improve.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I think one thing a lot of people do is they like to, like, especially in this game, they like to sit there and be like, "Oh man, that's bullshit," or "Oh man,
Right.
You gotta like acknowledge what you did wrong there, and sometimes the thing you did wrong in the situation is just being there in the first place. Like you have to, like you said, always be trying to get better, and like always be looking things in an objective manner and not an emotional. A lot of
Absolutely. No, that makes perfect sense. It's reflection on what you did wrong and how you lost it.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the people can learn that in things like quick play, or do you think that that's more viable in more of a competitive type sense?
If you died, why did you die? How did you die? What could you have done better?
I always like, did I go after the enemy or did I try to regroup with the team? That's the first thing I always ask myself after a death. Like, was there another option, or did I just like ego out into a lane and then got pooped on by 2 people team shotting me or something like that? You know what I mean? Yep. There's a lot of questions you can ask yourself, but that one right there, I feel like is the one I struggle with the most every day. Like I feel like I might peak things too many times whenever I shouldn't, because I feel like I have to do better. And it's like he said, like Diffizzle said, like don't look at it from an emotional standpoint. Look at it from a logical standpoint. Maybe I should have went back to my team. Maybe I should have waited for somebody else to come, into my area on my team before I peaked that, or gave myself an advantage. That's another thing. It's like always try to take battles that are to your advantage and not necessarily like just your gun skill. Because you might be the dude who hits all the headshots most of the time, but as soon as you go down, your entire team dies type thing. But like you could have just waited a half a second more, 2 seconds more for somebody to meet up with you to team shot, and then bam, you would have been at an advantage.
True. 90% of the time, I am the guy that goes, I shouldn't have ran that.
Yeah.
I am the king of. I use Shatter Dive to get me out of ego jumping, because I do it a lot. I'll jump into a lane to try and hit a snipe, and then go, there's 3 red dots. Slam down.
Yeah, it's good for that.
That's literally what I use it for. I don't even break the crystals as much as I do use it to just get myself out of situations or close the gap. That's 90% of what my shadow diving experience is for. All right, that was a great tangent to roll into for one of the questions. How do you both feel about aim trainers? Do you think they're viable, or do you think just playing the game helps? Things like aim labs, Kovacs, stuff like that.
I think that aim trainers, any form of like, assuming we're referring to keyboard play, any form of muscle memory is good. Like that's all aim trainers are really meant for, is to practice your like mouse control and muscle memory. And I think the best way to practice muscle memory for Destiny 2 is playing Destiny 2. And mouse control aim trainers are super good though. But for me personally, I don't use aim trainers. Like I have Kovacs and I've never played it. You don't really need to like be that obsessive about your aim in Destiny, because the hitbox in this game, it's not a competitive game. I'll just leave it at that. But
I was gonna say, I don't think Destiny is necessarily as aim intensive as a lot of people think. Yeah, you got to be able to hit your shots, but I feel like just playing Destiny and, like I said earlier, like getting pooped on a lot, your shot's going to get better. It will, 100%. Every time you go into lane, you're going to have some sort of improvement based on whether you won the battle or not. But I think Destiny is more of a movement game than it is a aiming game. Like, that's my 2 cents on it. I think everybody has a Michelin Man hitbox in Destiny, so it's pretty forgiving, especially now with 120s. 120s are the most forgiving thing in the world, I feel like. And then if you find somebody who doesn't have 5 resilience, sometimes you'll just come up with a kill because of that. So I guess stats, I like that they made stats matter more because of that type of thing. But at the same time, I like the 150 meta way more. I felt like there was more skill involved. I felt like it promoted, I don't know. I just felt like things had less of a ceiling then. But as far as aim trainers go, are they good? Yeah, they'll always be good, but I would recommend playing the game as opposed to actually hopping in an aim trainer and really thinking that's going to improve you a ton.
Okay. No, that actually answers quite a bit. So the baseline of that is play the game. Aim trainers are cool. Play the game. All right, let's keep it rolling.
I was gonna say, to be fair, last point on that, if you play a variety of games, not just Destiny, I know this all pertains to just Destiny, but if you play a bunch of different games, like aim trainers might make sense, because Destiny's very different than many others. Like I said, everybody's got a Michelin Man hitbox. If you like hop into Overwatch or something after Destiny, it's not gonna feel the same.
True.
It's just about muscle memory and mouse control. That's all it is.
Muscle memory and mouse control. I like that.
Aim trainers help with muscle.
Don't ever tell that to Patty Cakes or Apathetic. Patty Cakes.
What did they say? No, I want to know.
Patty plays like 3 or 4 hours of aim lab a day. That is his go-to. 3 to 4 hours of aim lab a day.
That's insane.
Yeah, we had him on.
He's never going to get that time back. Tell him that next time. Never.
Somebody want to clip that and send that to Patty?
That's good for him, but it's not necessary. And it's like you said, it's
his shot is on point. You slide the lane, it's all heads, no matter what. But I absolutely agree with you. Then again, I'm on the sticks, so here we are. Which is the rolling into the next question. How do you feel about the sticks versus MMK debate?
I mean,
hitting them with the hard questions.
No, it's not a hard question. It's it is what it is. I don't really know what there is to say. Like, I think if you complain about someone controller,
You have the option to use controller.
True.
well, the thing
Like-
is, like, there's pros and cons to both. That's just the way it is. I don't
I
think
agree.
like one's inherently better than the other. They're
My-
both good.
My one argument to controller aim is that that's what Destiny was founded on, D1. Every single D1 player was a controller player. Every single one. So that was a level playing field. But in D2, I feel like the aim assist and everything wasn't made for like the sweatiest of PvP players, the top end. I think it was made for the casual player. Now, I don't complain if I get beat by a controller player. Well, I don't know, maybe I have before, but like I have the option to use that. I do. I have the option to plug in the sticks if I want to. At the end of the day, but I do prefer mouse and key 100%. I love the movement, and I said it earlier. I think Destiny's a movement game, not 100% aim.
Sure.
But I I don't know. I don't feel like the aim assist itself was made for the hardcore player. I feel like it was made for casuals.
I mean,
Just
Bungie
to keep them
said-
in the game and everything.
Bungie said that this will never be a competitive game. But what's one thing you both would change to make it competitive?
You would have to have a separate playlist with separate weapons. Like it, I don't know. You wouldn't even be able to load into it if you didn't have those weapons equipped type thing. Like I don't know. Everybody has 5 stats.
Okay. Kind of like a locked loadout type thing.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, Sam?
I would separate the sandboxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a give it
That
us
is-
all.
That
you
is,
know?
That's the biggest issue, and the thing with Bungie is they just love to just be stubborn. What they can't admit when things when they don't work or when they've failed, like it's not something that they're willing to admit or want to admit. For me personally, I think that maybe it's not failed, but it's something that like the PvE and PvP sandbox, I think, have caused an enormous amount of issues. And if they were able to balance both like separately, it would make things a lot easier rather than trying to balance.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Split sandboxes would be huge.
I think that if they separated the sandbox, like for example, if you're aware, like Fortnite, there's the battle royale mode, and then there was the PvE, which was the first version, and both of those had separate sandboxes, so standalone thing. And I think that is what they would for that would give you the best like foundation for that reality, but that's not what they want, and it will probably never be what they want.
Okay.
True.
I can see that.
Well, because it's never been what they wanted before in D1 and it won't be. If I had to put money on it, if I had to put my life savings on it, it'll never be what they want.
That's very true. I would love to see it one day. And that actually rolls really well into the next question. So we had Boy on here, and Boy suggested a $5 paywall for the competitive modes, the survival, the Iron Banner, the trials. A $5 paywall per season for that content, and then that money goes directly into a PvP focused team. Do you think that'd be viable? Do you think that'd be something you offer, or do you think that'd be something you'd pay for?
I don't know. I don't know
Like
about that.
like a season pass, but only into competitive type
Kind of.
thing.
So you can still play the quick plays, you can still play control with the base, season pass type model. But to get into something like trials or any of the more competitive type plays like survival, You
Mhm.
drop $5 a year or a season. Words hard.
So I feel like the play here is so that they can't just have free to play accounts that are cheating
Correct.
or whatever, or are I don't know, like what.
It'd be a dual
I
purpose.
understand the purpose for it, and then the improvement to PvP is like an amazing selling point to it as well. But at the same time, I feel like Bungie wouldn't have to put efforts into that, even though they could take the money from that and put it back into it. They make enough money off PvE as it is, so I don't know. I feel like it'd be amazing if something like that happened. And Boy's an amazing player. Like, he spent a lot of time in here. That's a great idea. It's an amazing idea. I think they're so focused on PvE and making that work as opposed to PvP. And it's tough for them to even make PvE work. Look at these patches. Like, I don't know. It would be nice, but again, until Bungie does something that's like, hey, PvP players, this is for you. This is to make you guys happy. Which I haven't seen yet.
I mean,
even when they came out with trials,
and here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Even when they came out with trials, it was half baked, and they said we don't want to come out with trials half baked. But I felt like it was still until they have a moment like that, like, hey, PvP Sweatlords, this is for you. Let's go. And then they do exactly what is recommended by the masses, just to make us happy. I don't see anything like that being a thing that would happen.
When you say that by the masses, what are you referring to? Are you referring to the PvP people or
like the sweat community?
That's community. Not so like not even anywhere like
that's
close.
A small member of the community.
That's like less than 1,000 people. And like
then that makes my point even more, because
I was just informing you that, like, the reality that like the masses are what they are catering to, and that is the issue. But see, the thing is that's my perspective, and there's people that think that they're catering to sweaty players too much. Like there are genuinely people that think that, like they think that Bungie is catering too much to like the hardcore players, and that the like casual players are not getting it.
Is it though?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Everyone has an opinion about something, and like it's their opinion.
Well, the old saying of opinions are like assholes,
Well, Diffizzle, from your perspective, do you think the new meta it promotes aggressive play or more passive play?
It can be both. I think the new meta is shit, and it's probably the worst meta ever in the fucking franchise. But,
I agree.
Okay. You think it's worse than the double primary franchise or the double primary meta?
Yeah, because at least then shooting your gun mattered. But
right, teamwork mattered.
True. I mean, teamwork matters now. It's all the teams shooting one shot with their 120.
My thing isn't the 120s; it's stasis. Stasis for me has ruined the game. Like,
how many times has this happened? Like you two-piece the other team, and one dude's left, and all three of your team pushes that person, and that person is a stasis hunter who gets a shatter dive triple on you guys.
That's happened quite a bit, and I've done that quite a bit. It's
exactly
the game, like PvP, is in a really bad spot right now, in my opinion. Like the thing is the only reason it is because of stasis. Like if stasis was gone, PvP would actually be in a good spot, in my opinion. Not a horrible one, but
true. All right, Cam's got a question that'll actually roll right into this perfectly. What would you want Bungie to do specifically to improve your PvP experience? And I'm going to add to that and bring PvE players back to PvP.
For me personally, to improve the experience, I would say just remove stasis. Like that would right off the bat. Like I'd be more happy.
People yelled that same thing with Tether though. When Tether came out in D1, everyone was screaming the same thing: remove Tether. It's horrid. Remove void subclasses. But it's still here in D2 now, and it's not even viable. So instead of just saying pull stasis, what's one thing that you think could change with stasis to keep it still in the game to make it viable as well to be able to play against?
Well, okay. First of all, tether was never as strong, like never as strong as stasis is right now. Like
I used to
there
track
has
people around the
never.
corner and
Huh?
instant death. I used to pop a tether as they were ducking around a corner. It'd still kill them in one shot.
I mean, dude.
That's true, but I mean, for the range aspect, I used to main tether back in D1, and I would pop a tether from across the map, and it would track within a 20-foot range from someone's head and instantly hit him in the chest, and it's an instant kill. Plus, the smoke grenades had that extra tick when it first launched.
I just feel like they need to balance things enough to where like getting better at the game felt good. As opposed to right now, getting better at the game feels like waiting for my shatter dive and then slamming a group of 6 people as they're trying to cap a point in quick play. Like, I don't know, but that's like what people get hyped about. They don't get hyped about the fact that they won a 1v1 against this other dude using a thorn who had perk, or the experience itself sucks. It really does. Stasis is not good. It really isn't. It caters to people that just downloaded Beyond Light and they're like, "Whoa, I'm gonna slam on people. I'm gonna dunk on them." And that's not what Destiny should be about. At least not even to casual players. It really shouldn't. They should want to get back better. I think pinnacle weapons were a great thing for that. Honestly,
Thank
Luna's not forgotten. Amazing. Like it gave people something to work towards, and now those are gone too. And all we have is stasis. Like,
True.
I don't know what they were thinking.
True.
The thing about pinnacles is that, I mean, for the pinnacles that they made, is it was impossible for them to keep pumping out pinnacles that were as good. Like it, at some point.
How do you make a new perk that is not overpowered yet still good?
Yeah, that's the thing, is like when Not Forgotten came out, best gun in the game in Crucible, like hands down, best PvE hand cannon, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing for them is they kind of want to make guns that are good and can have good perks and stuff, but they don't want to make a gun that's like just better than all of the rest. And they've always been about that. That's why they balance the game weapon-wise the way they do. They want guns to have effective ranges instead of being effective at every range and just being the one gun you use over all of the other guns.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So that's why like we've kind of turned to this ritual weapon where it's, it's like a weapon that's like half decent.
Better than the normal pool, but not as good as a pinnacle.
Yeah. And it has decent perks, but it's not like ridiculous. Like for example, a door, like it has snapshot and like killing Win and Vorpal, I think, right? Or Vorpal's the snapshot. I don't know. I don't use it that often, but it would be better if it had snapshot quick draw, in my opinion, instead of like killing Win.
Okay.
And you could get like, for example, you get an Eye of Soul that has, snapshot and Vorpal and can like one shot a super, I think, and depending on the resilience. And like I think it's good that they have weapons in the game like that in the world that you can get for sure. And then what they need to do is also give us avenues to get weapons like a Beloved where you can't get that like really, really good roll.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Diffizzle, do you think like pinnacles were a good or bad, like do you think they should bring back pinnacles? I personally think pinnacles were it gave me something to chase through the dry spells. You know what I mean, man? Like I don't
know. I don't think they should bring back pinnacles just because of the fact that just because of how oppressive they were.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, that's the first time.
No, because like no, if you think about it, like Mountaintop Recluse PvE,
right?
For a period of time, that was all you used because it was the best. And once again, Not Forgotten, for a period of time, that's all you would use because there was nothing better. And that's the issue once again, and that's they balance their game in this way. They want things to have an effective range, and they want them to be good for certain situations. Like, you don't use an SMG at sniper rifle range because, you know, that's just how it works. That's how they made the game. Like, that's how the game's made. They want things to be good at a certain range and good in certain situations, and they don't want one gun to be like the be all end all. Like, it's
like Mountaintop and Recluse were.
Yes,
but do you think that's going to be the same problem?
Issue.
Do you think that's going to be the same problem with sunsetting now, though? Do you think that with sunsetting included, that something with a pinnacle would be a little bit more viable because you can only use it for 3 seasons?
I saw somebody in the chat say, "Do you like stuff that takes RNG out of the game?" That's the only reason I think pinnacles are good. Like, so Mountaintop and Recluse were like the best thing you could use for PvE. Kind of weird in PvP, like situational, like, but at least everyone was guaranteed them. Whereas, I don't. My only point, and I see exactly where you're coming from, Diffizzle. Like, there's one gun. You don't want one gun to be the end all be all.
No,
100%.
they don't want it. It's not like that. That's what their intentions of the game are. Is they want people to use other things besides these, you know, 2 weapons or this 1 weapon like that. That's what their intentions are, and they made that clear, and they show that. Like, they just, ritual weapons are good. Like I said, it's good to have something that is for sure, like, guaranteed. Like, that's good. And it's not even necessarily a bad thing that they give us that thing that isn't like the best thing of that, like, class. It's just they need to give us something that we can grind for, that is RNG.
Okay. So Wyvern asked a question that actually pertains to this really well, and we had Wyvern on here as a previous guest with Leg and Pantho. He says, what's your opinion on adding another IS Luna type weapon where the drop rate is insanely low, but it's a PvP only drop and it's potentially the best hand cannon in the game? Do you think
where would you get it?
It would be through PvP.
From PvP?
Yeah, he said PvP only.
Okay.
I think things like that should be added. I think, for example, like, you know, Dire, for example, you can get Dire from multiple avenues. I think you really don't want to. I think it's important that you don't make players do something they don't want to do. Like, I don't want to fucking sit there and do Grandmaster Nightfalls for a palindrome, but guess what I'm going to do?
Exactly.
That is not good. Is bad.
That's fair. That's fair.
They should make palindrome accessible through other things.
So you feel that a shared loot pool should be staying in the game?
What do you mean?
So, like, right now, you can obviously get a Dire from weapon materials. You can get a Dire to drop in PvP. You can get a Dire to drop in PvE activities. Back in D1, it was specific loot pools for specific activities. So you're saying to keep it in the same model it is now?
Yeah, like I said, I think making it so, I guess you should have a variety. I think there should definitely be a good pool of weapons that you can get from doing anything. And I think, like I said, one of the most important things with weapons like a palindrome, like that is something that I guess is fair enough to have be an exclusive thing, or like trials weapons. Like, it would make sense to like get trials weapons out of QP. But I think with weapons like you know, the palindrome, I feel like it's something that is very important. Like, it's something that a lot of people are going to want because it's going to not be getting sunset. And like, or another good example is like spare rations. That was something you could only get from Gambit and fucking the Reckoning. And like, no one wanted to do that. No one wanted to do Reckoning.
But we all did.
Yes.
True. That was actually, I think that was kind of brilliant on Bungie's part. It didn't make any PvPers like happy, because we were like, we had to spend hours in this just to get the role we wanted. But hell, we did it, didn't we? Same thing with Mindbenders.
I'm so upset. Both of those. Don't even rub it in.
Yeah, but
I know
but
it sucks.
the thing
That's
is,
why I like pinnacles. That's why I think like anything that takes RNG out of the game, like I don't even care if I have to spend 48 hours grinding out this one pinnacle thing. As long as it's guaranteed to me, like Fellwinter's was, then I'll be happy with it. But right now, so many people are pissed off because they can't even get Fellwinter's. You know what I mean?
Like,
yeah,
that's
that's
back for a season.
oversight on their behalf. By the way, like I cannot believe that they've done
357 hours for his God Roll Spare. I quit after like 80 hours.
Yeah, and that's
not
my
even
thing
down.
is like he spent 357 hours doing something he did not enjoy. Who like what who
But
no
he
one
did it.
No, I know that he did it because he felt like I mean, I don't know if he wanted to, but it's not an enjoyable experience, right? Like, yeah, you might have sat there and grinded away, but did you enjoy doing that? No. And that's the thing is, when you're playing a
No.
video game, you want to enjoy it and have fun.
Mhm.
And it's not fun to have to sit there and slave away at something you don't want to be doing. And my point is that you should give the players other avenues to get those things that they want, rather than sit there and make them play something for 357 hours that they don't want to play but have to play because devs made it. So that's
True.
the only way to get what they want.
Do you think devs made it that way to get people to be active in other
Yeah,
facets
of course.
the game?
But that's the thing is like when you do that, I feel like you can only do that so many times till it gets kind of old.
Well, here's the deal: if they are knowingly going to not care about PvP, then do more things like they did with Adored. You know what I mean? Like, okay, give it to us. Just give it to us. You know what I mean? Give us Fellwinters, give us Adored, give us
But then
these
people
things.
complain about it. That's the thing, is they're like, well, that was too easy. Now I have it, everybody has it. It's too
But
easy.
they can no longer compare about losing a shotgun battle to a CQC to a freaking Fellwinter. You know what I mean? They can't complain about that anymore. And then it becomes about themselves.
I have Fellwinters, and I still run CQC. We talked about this. I love my CQC. I like the mobility buff. That's the big thing, is I can slide in, shotgun you, melee you, and get out.
But you cannot complain when somebody beats you with a Fellwinters.
True.
That's my point, because you got it. You got it. You have the option to use it. Same thing I was saying like with the controller earlier. I have the option to use the sticks. So, you know, I try my best to not complain about a controller user. WTF.
That's the 7 Seraph CQC shotgun is what that is.
I'm just saying, like, if they're not going to openly like show a lot of love for PvP, they should make it easy to get those weapons. And I don't think I know of a PvP main that would argue with me on that, because what PvP main wants to play a shit ton of PvE?
Well, you know, it's not even necessarily a bad thing to have things like that you have to grind away and do something that you don't want to do, but making sure that it is a good reward is definitely a good idea. Like, I think the biggest thing and one of the biggest issues with Destiny is rewarding players for their time. I think that's one of the biggest issues that they have, is doing that effectively.
True.
As a whole.
Yes,
True.
as a whole, is rewarding their players for their time. And I think sunsetting is one of those things for a lot of players.
Oh my god.
I like sunsetting personally, just to start off. I personally like sunsetting. I think the thing that sucks currently is that they don't give us anything to grind.
Right. They're sunsetting more than they're giving.
Yes, it's exactly.
I feel that. I do. I feel that.
Bro.
The idea of sunsetting.
Oh, go ahead.
Flex
Go
is
ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
The idea of sunsetting is good and I think healthy for the game, because you can still use those things. It's just not in those, you know, light level enabled activity, and I think that will drive player time. It just, like I said, they need to give us new things to grind for, and that's just not something we have. So currently, sunsetting is not working in a good way because they haven't put enough content in the game for it to work.
Okay. So obviously loot pool is kind of the common theme with the last couple questions. Flakes, what you got? I know you're super excited about this.
Okay, so I have a quick draw slide shot, whatever the hell shotgun is you get from the Dreaming City, right? What's that
Retold.
called? Retold Tail. Yeah, okay. Was super proud of it. Worked really hard to get it. Actually, it was complete luck, right? And I felt really good about getting it. Now I know that it's like just I gotta dismantle it, and guess what? It's being replaced with, guys. It's being replaced with another Retold Tale.
With new
And-
perks, though.
Okay, but it's gonna be like Killing Wind or some lame whatever, that doesn't even affect it. Like, and that's another thing I have an issue of. Do we think there's too many perks in the game? Like, I think there are. I think there's too many useless perks that people wouldn't use for PvE or PvP. And I think they're just taking up the loot pool, making more RNG. I don't know. I go off on tangents on my stream sometimes, but like
that's what this fun part is.
I know I go off on tangents because it's like anything that adds more RNG into the game is bad. For example, they got rid of so much content. Whenever you get rid of content, usually games introduce more RNG. Okay, you get rid of weapons, well, you get more RNG on the new weapons. It sucks. I hate that. But as far as sunsetting goes, like, it just sucks that I literally have to regrind the same weapons. But
True.
at the same time, they could surprise me. They could surprise me and be like, well, if you've already got this weapon, you could bring it up to light. But I really doubt that's going to happen.
They didn't do that in D1 either, though. That's the thing. In D1, if you had a good weapon that was below the power cap,
Then
what?
as a
redo
hardcore
it.
player of Destiny 2 who has thrown my money at these people, who has spent thousands of hours in the game, I should be able to keep my one weapon that is exactly the same as other people's weapons that are now
Yes,
grinding
but
it.
if you
I
say
find
that-
to be
then someone else says that about another weapon, then someone else says that about another weapon. Hey, guess what? Sunsetting's gone. That easy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is
no.
it's
Just that
giving
one.
weapon. No, okay, what the f? That makes no sense, in my opinion. Just Retold Tale, just your Retold Tale, like what?
Right?
I mean,
They're gonna look at it, and DMG's gonna be like, Flakes, you get to keep your Retold Tale.
No. But like, I don't care. I don't care if it costs me like an exotic cipher. It costs me something I have to grind out or spend more time on. That's fine. That's fine. But like, it's completely gone. Completely, 100%. They don't do that with exotics. Why would they do that with other things? I'm not trying to be picky or anything like that.
So
I'm just
Sam,
saying,
let me spin that a little bit. How do you feel, Sam, about utilizing something like an exotic cipher for one weapon to bump up to the current sandbox's light level? Something like, obviously, Retold Tale, right? Or spare rations, because I guarantee they're going to bring it back, right? If you use something like an exotic cipher to push up the spare rations to whatever light level it gets dropped at that it can max out at, do you think that'd make it more viable in a sunsetting type situation?
I think that could potentially be something that is viable. If you had to use literally an exotic cipher, which is something you get like one of the seats in, I could see that.
So you'd pick one weapon that you could use to push. That's actually fucking brilliant.
I don't know how I'd feel about that though, because I feel like the whole point of sunsetting is they want to usher in an era of weapons.
But they need to give us new weapons to usher in.
Yes, yes.
But
Then I wouldn't have anything to complain about, not even a little bit. Like, but since they're bringing back the exact same stuff,
yeah, that's the thing that's frustrating, and I don't know if we've really seen a lot of in D1. I don't remember. I don't remember vividly.
D1 had Activision's backing. We need to keep that in mind. D2 does not. But the flip side of that too is, not many of us are 7-year veterans. A lot of people are just coming into the game, and that's what they're trying to cater to. People that never had an IS Luna, people that never had a Palindrome, people that never had spare rations. People that never had, So for us, it's recycled content, but for not the people that have invested thousands and thousands of hours, do you feel like it's new content for them? And it's easy for Bungie to reintroduce.
Dude, they're going to quit the game before they even play PvP. Let's be real. Okay, so from my perspective, it's like if you give people a realistic goal, I keep freaking harping on the pinnacle weapons. I thought that was it, man, because that really did keep me in the game. It did. Getting Not Forgotten back in the day, because I was I'm still dog meat, but I was dog meat back in the day. But I worked my ass off because that was the only thing I was missing. And it was a realistic, attainable goal that Bungie gave to us. It said, here's what you have to do to get this. And I did it. And it felt amazing. Now nobody has anything like that. None. Except like the seals.
Yeah. Sam, how do you feel about it? What you got?
Can you repeat the question?
Fuck, I don't even remember it. Flakes got all up in a tangent.
I did. I'm sorry. I took it to another place.
Reintroduction of weapons for us is obviously old recycled content, but for newer people, it's new. Do you think that's why they do it that way, or do you think that they're just doing it because it's easier to put back into the pools?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things about Bungie is they just don't say. Like, they're just extremely non-transparent and like very
true.
They don't communicate, so it's like impossible to. I can't make any logical conclusion based on like facts because there are none. In terms of like whether or not they're doing it because it's easier or because it's for the newer players. Like I don't know that. I guess the one thing you could say is maybe they don't have Activision's backing, so they probably don't have as much income, so it's easier for them to just recycle content that they make go instead of making content.
Right.
But I don't know. I think they're doing it because it seems like right now they're struggling more than they ever have in terms of like getting done. But they've always had an issue with that. It's always like it before COVID, before this season, before any of this. Like Destiny has always had the same issues constantly, never ending. Like this is what the game, in my opinion.
Okay. No, I feel that. We are obviously a little over on time. How y'all feeling? Do you guys want to keep chatting a little bit more? Or do you want to jump into the practical? I know you guys are pretty tired.
I'm down to keep talking personally. I do need to go to bed.
I like the discussion.
The discussions are great for sure. I know everybody is really wanting to play with you guys as well, though. So, it's up to y'all as the guest. How you feeling?
I'm down to keep talking personally. That's just for me. I'm down to talk more. I like talking about the game. I like talking about stuff in general. It's
You're still gonna be down to scrim, yeah?
I don't know about that. I think
okay. So more chatting, less scrimming. Got it.
Yes,
easy.
Sir.
Everybody's already sitting in scrims. They're like scrims. That's how this goes down. Is there's always people that want to play with you guys for a chance to not face against you, or do exclamation mark carry,
Yeah. I don't even do that anymore, man. I feel like doing carries is such a.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, let's go into that. Hell yeah.
That I'm down. Actually,
carries suck. You can't do them anymore. You can't. Like
you can. It's just very.
Okay.
It's tough. It's very tough.
Dude, I think I watch Sep. Okay, Sep is an amazing player. I'll even shout him. Dude, Sep is
I love Sep.
amazing.
Sep's amazing.
And he's definitely better than me, 100%. It took him 112 games to go flawless this past weekend. Diffizzle, how was your weekend?
It didn't take me 112 games, but it was. It's for lack of a better term, it's a Mulder. It's bad. Like I once again, this is for me, this is the worst time in Destiny ever. Like stasis has ruined the game for me. I wish it was removed, and I usually don't say that. Like I can
deal with it. Yeah,
I can deal with it, but I've been playing the game since the beginning, and it's literally the worst. And I know people say that all the time about things, but I don't. And for me, this is the worst that I've in the entirety of Destiny 2 Trials. Not Destiny 2 Trials, in the entirety of the franchise of Destiny and Trials of Osiris, this season is the worst that I've performed on a statistical basis ever. I have not. I'm dropping a 2, almost barely a 2, and I usually drop a high 2 or a mid 2.
Dude, I'm actually happy to hear somebody else say that, because this past week, just this season, actually, since stasis and everything, everything seems very different than before. And I get it. The meta's roaming, the meta moves, but I tell you what, I feel like they really catered to the 1.0 people who couldn't, I don't know, they couldn't compete type thing. With stasis and 120s and everything, it just seems like it's a lot easier to get beat than it was before, whether it's your fault or not.
Sure. No, that makes sense. I mean, stasis and trials together are rough, especially on this map that had last weekend that had so many corners. Many corners.
Pacifica, and then the week before you got all the cheese spots in the world.
Yep. I played 1 day of trials on Radiant Cliffs, and I was done. I was like, nope. We made it to 3 wins max, and I was like, I'm done. Not gonna happen.
So here's one thing that I don't know if any. I mean, I'm sure no one's asked about it, but I just wanted to ask you guys just to hear your opinion. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people will say, if you are doing carries, or they operate under the assumption, I'm doing carries, so everyone should back out if they're playing stacked. What do you guys think about that?
I definitely
think it depends.
Backed out on Flakes when we were playing on Jav.
Okay.
And then he shouted out Faith, because Faith had TTV in his name. Big sad.
Oh, sorry, Bobby. But I'm here now, baby. I'm here now.
True that,
okay.
True that. If I'm running stacked, I'll usually back out if that's the case. Just especially if somebody's doing a carry, because I understand how hard it is to do carries in this meta this season. I'll back out if I'm I'll open up. If it's a homie stream or somebody I know that's streaming and doing a carry, I mean. Obviously, it depends on wins. If you're on your flawless game and they're on their flawless game, that's different. But if it's a 1-win, 2-win, 3-win thing, I'll back out if I'm running stacked.
You know what? I tell you what, it's like this. If you feel like you want to because you like the person you're backing out for, then do it. Or don't do it. I don't care. I don't think there is a rule or anything like courtesy or... If you're running stacked and you want to stomp the other team, do it. It's trials. That's your prerogative, okay? It really is. But if you genuinely like the other person, they're doing a carry, and you want to help them out, do it. And at the very least, they should say your praises as a Twitch dude. But there is no reason at all whatsoever anybody is obligated, whether you're doing a carry or not, to back out for you.
All right, there we go. That's my opinion. I think
True.
that there's never going to be a time, like a lot of people operate under that opinion and assumption that like, oh man, I'm doing a carry, so they have to back out. It's like, no, actually, no one has to back out for you. It's not enemy team's fault that you decide to do a carry. And
Right.
No.
at the end of the
No,
day,
but-
they're just playing the game. Like that's all they're doing. Whether or not it's with good people is neither here nor there. Like they have no obligation to you at all. Like no one does.
No.
For me, if I match someone that's doing a carry and I want to back out, I will. And if I don't, I don't. And
Yep.
if people give me shit for it, I don't give a fuck. It's
True.
neither here.
I mean, I've ran against quite a few people that are like, I'm like, we're playing so and so. Let's run them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we know that
that's-
they're doing a carry. Let's run them. That's one of those things. But if it's a homie or somebody that's a positive individual that's helping for free or whatever that I enjoy hanging out with or watching, things like that,
Right.
like I'll drop out.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, bro. Like that's your prerogative. But at the end of the day, no one can hold that against you if you didn't decide to do that. Okay?
True.
Let's say you wanted to run that team that was doing a carry and you wanted to just, I don't know. You're doing your own thing, okay? Your time is valuable too, homie. You're a
True.
streamer, you're doing your own thing. You're vibing, you're a good Destiny player. There's no reason that because even if it's a virgin carry, I would say on game 7, I've backed out every single time. If I'm not carrying someone who's never been flawless, but the other person is, that's just a good play by me. That's just a good play by me. It really is, because like I made a lot of friends by doing that. But at the same time, you are not obligated to do that. You aren't. That's, dude, how could you be? You queued into trials, you better be willing to take a spanking.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah,
that's how it works.
That's the thing is like for me when I'm doing carries, the bottom line is if I can't win, that's my fault. It's not the carry's fault. It's not the enemy team's fault. It's my fault.
Well,
It's
if you
just
offer a carry, you're obviously
Yeah,
offering that you can play better than the average individual.
Yes, that's
And he
and if
probably
you-
does, but at the same time, it's not like I don't know any streamer that does guaranteed flawless carries right now.
Nobody anymore.
They would be crazy to do that.
My point is like people shouldn't blame the enemy team. They should blame themselves. It's like that happened. Like if you play a stacked team and you can't beat them with a carry, that's your fault. That's not the stacked team's fault. Part of
Okay.
doing carries is dealing with that, and you should know that by now if you do carries. That's pretty common knowledge. You're going to play teams that aren't doing carries while you're doing a carry, and they're not always going to back. And
Oh shit! Kama actually remembers you from D1, Sam. He says he was doing his last Virgin carry of D1 and flawless game No Mercy. He played you and Gigs, and you guys backed
Yeah.
out, and it gave him the Virgin carry.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, I didn't feel obligated. It's just the thing with like a lot of people that do carries where like there's this deep moral obligation to to back out for them, and if you don't do it, you're a bad person, and
True.
it's
That's
ridiculous.
It's
That's so
goofy,
goofy.
especially in this where you're like, you clicked that button that says,
Dude,
I'm
I'm just
trials."
playing a game, man. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm a fucking like serial killer or something. Like I'm just playing a video game. Like it's not
I
that
think-
deep.
I think the argument to that is if you're running stacked, like just to gatekeep, that's kind of a different situation, don't you think? Or how do you feel about that?
I suppose that comes with intention, but even if that is your intention, cool. I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's
I would. I would feel like that would be like sabotage. I would not do that live, 100%. No freaking way. But at the same time, I don't know. It's this weird thing. Like, if I remember somebody didn't back out for me, dude, I'll try that much harder against them, even if I
Right.
am stacked or not. Like, and then it becomes like this crazy, I don't know.
Competition?
Yeah, competition.
Like, oh, you guys didn't back out last time, and we're doing a carry. Guess what? We're stacked
I
now.
think-
What's up?
I think that's the problem that people like think about. They're like, oh, he didn't back out. They didn't back out. They didn't back out. All of a sudden, like carries become impossible. That's not the reason carries are impossible. Carries are impossible because of the low player base.
True.
And that's, at the end of the day, that's it. Like, I don't think they're impossible. They're just, nobody like promotes them as much as they used to. They'll say help. They'll say, you know, whatever.
That's what I do. I'm like, hey, I'm offering trials help. I'm offering comp help. And they're like, well, do you do carries? Nope. I do not do carries. Like, I can't guarantee you that you're going to get flawless, but...
No, but you're playing with somebody who has 700,000 and 999,000, like, flawlesses. Like, a lot of people do that in their chats. You know, I think that's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
But, whatever.
We had Redeemer on here, and that's all I need to say.
No, he's a cool dude.
Redeemer's
cool
awesome.
Dude.
He's one of my favorite people.
Like, that's not my style. Everybody has their own style.
Yeah, you know? I'll offer help. I'm like, yeah, I'll help. We'll run a couple cards. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we're gonna get shit on. Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the issue of cheaters, and obviously over this last weekend, and what did we have? 3 streamers at the top of the directory that were actively using aimbot, right?
Yeah.
3.
That's nuts.
3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, you got to realize the game you're playing, man. Like,
true.
Know,
and they were top of the leaderboard
game. It's
I feel like
top of the directory.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like at the same time, like if they keep doing that, like that might be a wake up call, because the directory like is where a lot of people go to like see what's going on with Destiny and shit. Like, I don't know. Like, they really... It's sad. It's sad because 90% of the time, I don't know if I just got shit on by a good player or like out .exe. I don't know.
Excel.exe.
Yeah.
They got the upgraded Microsoft Office.
But I try to take the route that Diffizzle was talking about earlier, like don't make it mental or don't make it, you know, think about it logically. Did you make an actual mistake? And it really sucks when sometimes you're like, no, I pushed like I should have, but I got shit on for reasons unbeknownst to me. But, you know, what can you do?
True. Very true. Sam, you got anything to add to that?
I mean...
Because obviously you spend a lot more time in trials than I think most of us do. Mr. I did a 48-hour trial stream.
Me, for sure. I've got less than 200. How many flawlesses you got, Diffizzle?
I mean, I do a lot of recos, so, you know. I think I only have like 300 or close to that. I do spend a lot of time in the playlist, though. But
do you think recovs are killing the game?
No,
recovs are ruining the game. System.
The game being shit and cheaters are killing the game. Recovs are just... The thing is like, if you're... Okay, so if I'm not doing a recov, I'm playing on my main. I'm still going to run you over. It doesn't matter. It's, you know... It's just one...
What are the... I don't even know. What are the best arguments to people that think recovs are ruining the game? What are their arguments?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I have no idea. That's their argument.
Well, it's
like,
you know, like I said, I'm probably gonna run you over even harder when I'm on my main. So if anything, you have an advantage that I'm on another account. So I'm still gonna match you. It's card-based matchmaking. That's how trials works. And it's still gonna not go well most of the time.
I 100% agree with you. I actually have friends that recov my PvE for me. So,
dude, I did 2 PvE recovs today. I am destroying the game.
Bro,
100%.
I have people do the PvE recovs for me. They'll hit me up and they're like, "Hey, do you need mats?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do. You want to run my account?" And they're like, "Sure." Do you want to run my comp? And I'm like, "Sure."
Like, it's hilarious. It really is. Like, and it's like these, I don't know if you're the same, but I feel like it's these giant either established YouTubers or established streamers that say that recovs ruin the game. And I'm like, wait a second, dude. You wouldn't be saying that if you were in my position. 100%. You know what I mean?
Let me flip it back to it's these giant YouTubers and giant streamers that are ruining the ecosystem.
Okay.
Because all I see on Twitter from, I'm not going to drop names obviously, are I'm quitting this game, shit game. Right? That's it. Like, no, this is what's wrong, this is what I would fix. It's literally shit game, I'm quitting. And then you see him back on 2 weeks later. Like,
well, I think the thing for a lot of those people is like they've been playing the game for no. I mean, it's that, or they've been playing the game for a bit and like sitting there and talking about specifically what's wrong with the game and what like needs to be fixed. They don't feel like it matters. Like their voice is not heard, and they feel that way for a reason.
But do you think that's because none of us in the PvP community can pick on a specific thing to lock on and agree with? Like if we use the example
I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but that maybe being one of them, but I think it's mostly because the devs just don't communicate and are not very transparent, and that's kind of a them issue more than it is anything.
I mean, if we use the example of, say, Warlock's melee during stasis, right? Everybody screamed the same thing. This shit is wrong and this is why, right? But if you look to everything else, they're like, stasis is the problem. Well, what's wrong with it? Stasis. And then it's silence. Like, fuck this game. Like, why not give a specific? Like, even with the normal details of what we have here, you know what I mean? Is like,
well, they can. Okay, to be fair, they complained about sniping. Sniping is now. I can't remember the last time I got shit on. Like, sniping is okay now, 100%.
Sure,
I think it's fine.
Because we all agreed.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about that. We talk about like all the bad things that there still are. But like sniping's good, homie. It's great now. Like I'm okay with it. I don't do it because it sucks. But I don't get shit on like I used to. After 2-tapping somebody in the head, I still do, but not nearly as much, right? You know what I mean? The number of times goes down drastically this season.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things about, the Warlock being nerfed was the PvE, like applications or things that it could have affected. More than the fact that the community all like zeroed in on it. I think, acknowledging the fact that there was, the raid was coming out, like the raid was going to come out, and it was something that you could literally like one-shot the boss with. Like the boss would die like immediately. Kind of gave them reason to like nerf it and look into it more than anything. Like that's something that you can't like. There's only so many times that you're going to have those circumstances be that way, where they have that level of focus and like eyes on that in particular. When you look at the other stasis subclasses, like people, for example, have zeroed in on like the Shatter Dive, and maybe that it's done too much damage, or the AoE for it is too much. Sure. And that is not getting anywhere near as much of like attention or being dealt with as quickly, and it's because of the way that it affects the game. It only affects PvP really.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did adjust Shatter Dive. They adjusted Shatter Dive damage from 50 to 5, and they adjusted the AoE from 55 to 22.
Yes, but the thing is like even after that, it's still broken. Good. Yeah,
but it's more. It's more tuned. I mean, they listened.
They did something.
It's more tuned in the literal sense, but it is still to the point where it's still better than everything else on Hunter sub, or in the complete like entirety of Hunter is still the best thing to run.
True.
So like literally, they did.
I don't have to choose. I don't have to choose. Like, it's not like, oh, do I run Stasis or Spectral or Golden Gun or anything like that? Like, it's still Stasis, 100%.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think Shatter Dive, they need to remove the damage resistance. That's one thing I think you missed when you were talking about it, because currently it has 25, it had 50. That should be 0. There should be 0 damage resistance.
I agree. Oh my god.
See, if we all said that same thing, though, do you think that would change it? Like,
Huh?
there's so many
that
people screaming about different things that it's like, from a project manager's perspective, right? If everybody's screaming about a different thing that needs to be fixed, nothing's going to be focused on, because if they pick one thing out of the 100 that are being yelled at, everyone's still going to complain, right?
Yeah.
And shitty enough, I mean, PvP players have been ignored for so long that we're all screaming at this point, right? Everything is a scream. 120s are shit. Shotguns are shit. Snipers are shit. Stasis is shit. If we all focused and honed in on one thing that they could focus on, I feel like they could fix it. I really do.
Well, I think that's what we did with Shatter Dive, but the deal is that they didn't fix it enough, right? Like,
But
it's still
yes,
broken.
we said Shatter Dive, but did we say what about Shatter Dive? It's the Whisper of Fissures that's the problem in Shatter Dive, right? Shatter Dive without Whisper of Fissures is just a movement.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's a movement to get yourself out of lanes. I don't hear anybody saying, "God damn it, I missed my snipe because that dude dove."
You know what's crazy?
Right?
I feel like the Shatter Dive is like more powerful because it's so instant than my super is. I will get shit on out of super, I don't know how many times, but I feel like Shatter Dive in some instances is like better to have than your super. Like, and I shouldn't feel that way about just a normal ability you use. To be fair, Warlocks had, their handheld supernova back in the day. It was like throwing a freaking 18-wheeler down the hallway. But like, this is worse. 100%.
Okay. Well, do you remember bottom tree strikers issues back in the day? Like, there's always been something that's been way overdone. Fuck it. Let's even roll it back to Dawnblade's, what is it, Chromatic Fire now? That shit tracks you around a box and can kill you if your shield's gone. Right? Like, it'll still track you around a box and kill you if your shield's gone. And it'll track you from any range. But nobody's screaming that because Stasis is being screamed at. Sam, I hear you.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't agree. Like, I feel like, yeah, everybody knows Top Tree Dawn's like, not overpowered, but like you can waste that shit pretty easy.
Bro,
you
Top
really
Tree
can.
Dawn's Celestial Fire neutral game. That's the reason why it's ran in tourneys. Changed my mind.
I think it's the Phoenix.
Icarus Dash.
Yeah, the
True.
Icarus Dash.
100% Icarus Dash. It's
So,
about not dying
movement.
as opposed to
Yeah, I mean,
securing.
movement games. So anything like, for example, people use Stompies, Dragon Shadow, do Marchers, Transfers of Steps. Top Tree Dawn is because movement is very important PvP aspect. And that is what makes it the best light subclass, is it has the best out of any of the classes.
Okay.
Fair, that's fair. So, Bobby, change our minds. I feel like Diffizzle and I are on the same page here. Why is Celestial Fire the best?
Because in this meta specifically, you do one shot with a 120, and then you throw your Celestial Fire around a box. It's an instant kill. Guaranteed. Right? Right?
Yeah. I mean,
that's
not guaranteed, actually. That's
not guaranteed. Yeah, that's
you have to get hit by what, 2 bolts, and the thing's got AoE damage. Like,
you can still miss those, though.
True.
Like, it's not guaranteed by any means. It depends on how far away they are, and if they're really close, like, I mean, you risk getting shotgunned or like.
Right.
I personally don't think. I think Celestial Fire is really good, but I don't think it's 100%. Like something that's like, oh my god, wow, they need to nerf this. Like, I think maybe the Icarus Dash, but not the Celestial Fire.
You think
like,
Icarus Dash is...
I was gonna say I've never gotten a 5-man kill with Celestial Fire, but I have with Shatter Dive.
But have you hold on. Have you gotten a 5-man kill with Shatter Dive or with Whisper of Fissures?
Whisper of Fissures.
Exactly.
I mean, okay, you combo it.
That's the thing, though.
At the end of the day,
cooldown.
That's like
Obviously.
saying, okay, I Icarus dashed and used my melee and got 6 kills. Okay, it's literally the same thing. You throw a grenade, you use your movement ability, you get 6 kills.
Well,
The amount of button presses is almost the same. Like, that's why it's a problem.
I think I don't know. At least the point that I got from that was it's not really the like ice wall slam that's the issue. It's the ice wall slam with twister features, and that is the issue. I think that Shatter Dive needs to be nerfed more, and that you know with fissures. What?
Redeemer's got a question for you, Sam. He says,
You run Frosties?
He says, how do you sleep at night running 100 discipline on Frosties?
I can't blame him, though.
Actually, I don't run 100 discipline. I'm 100 intellect to.
Okay.
Give you
Okay.
information. And
100
I sleep
intellect.
really well.
Okay. To
Go
be
ahead.
fair,
Continue. I want to hear Sam.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's it. I'm done.
You run 100 intellect. Got it.
Yeah. No, dude, fuck it. This game isn't competitive. Like, I don't give a
True.
fuck.
Let's go.
Dude, I mean, all that matters is who wins. Like, that's all I care about. I don't give a fuck if you think it's like cheap or not. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not competitive.
No, dude.
I'm not playing you in a tournament. I could play you in a tournament if you want. But
I did that same shit. I
True.
did that same shit. I made a YouTube video on Control top fragging with Frosties and a sword hilt. That's all
True.
I did.
I know. We were just watching it, actually. That was funny. It was playing earlier.
I was, as we were talking about stasis, I seen he was running around with a fucking sword.
And just shatter diving.
That was the
it.
video.
Yep.
That was the video. It really was.
We were watching it, too. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this game, like, that's the thing. This game is not a competitive game. It's not like I'll never understand how people, and I've obviously been there, right? Like, you know, in life you're gonna be a hypocrite. I've been hypocritical about this, and I'll probably be more hypocritical about it at some point in my life, or in my time playing the game. But Ice Wall Slam, you know, it's something that people think is cheap, and I think it is too. But at the end of the day, like, you know, it's in the
Either
game.
use it
It's in the
or
game
get
and run
beat
it.
by it.
Especially
Right?
if you're doing something like Legos.
And people in Destiny, for some reason, draw this really big, like, correlation to morality if you use a certain thing in the game. Like, if you use this, oh, you're a fucking pussy. If you use this, oh, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, it's
Well,
really
that
not
ego
that.
thing.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's not like. If there's no rule, and there is no rule, if you're playing pubs, like just trials, there's no fucking rule unless you say it to each other. But you know, otherwise, there's no rule. Like it's literally just pubs.
Usually it's a message back and forth, like no heavy. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. And the thing is for me, the way that I look at the game is you use your bullshit, and I will use my bullshit. Whoever wins, and that is the game. And that's always what the game has been, and always what it will be. That's what the game is supposed to be. Like, that's what the devs intended, and that's why I'm able to do it, because the devs intended it.
True. I mean, I feel that. I do. So what do you think about, what if we like, in a perfect world, right? We reached out to Bungie's devs and said, make trials no abilities. Do you think that would bring more people into the ecosystem? That was a question earlier. Do you think that would bring more people to the ecosystem, or do you think that less people would touch it because it actually requires skill, and people don't want skill, they want to abuse abilities?
I don't think no abilities would be a good idea. Because that's the thing, is like, you want it to be Destiny, right? Like, you don't want it to not be Destiny. People like Destiny for what Destiny is, to some degree.
Okay.
And abilities are part of Destiny. I think balancing those abilities is a good idea, though.
Sure. But that goes back to the screaming of balance how.
Yo, I can agree with that. If people want to play like that, then go play Halo. Go play something different. You don't want to play Destiny. You're not looking at Destiny.
This is not the game, man. Like, this is not a competitive game. It never has been, never will be. Like, shut the fuck up.
One's the type that the go play a different game is a bad take to me. because I haven't found a game that the gunplay feels as good as Destiny does. And if you guys know one, let me know. Like,
I mean, I enjoy COD personally, but
COD's okay, but I mean, it's the gunplay in Destiny, the way it feels, like the way the recoil is, the way that the differences in guns and running, you know, different energy types feels so good.
Bro, make a new game. Bobby, dude, make a new game that's just like Destiny.
Bro, I'm a data
I'll
center
buy
manager.
it. I 100% would buy it if it were PvP focused. 100%.
I am a data center manager. I am not a game dev.
True. Well, shit. Then we're back at square one.
We're playing this game and we're enjoying the gunplay and we're enjoying the abilities and we're complaining about one thing after another.
I still love Destiny 100%, but I feel like what you're referring to is sort of like Halo, but like a newer version of it type thing, because the game does have feels from Halo.
Absolutely.
Bringing somebody's shield down and then they're one shot. Same thing. Like,
yeah. I mean, but Halo, you picked up your weapons as you went through the map.
I didn't like that. Okay, that would be the one thing I would change. I would say everybody's sort of, stuck. Maybe have a primary and a secondary like we do now. But there you go. There is the new game of 2021 that we could invent that everybody would play.
Halo-stiny.
Exactly.
Holy shit, we're at 2 hours of chatting. You guys are insane.
yes. Hey man, time flies when you're talking about it. When you're doing shit you like, the time flies. But
bro, this is
true.
I've had a couple that it's like the hour rolls on and I'm like, all right, let's jump into practical. Like, conversations are good, but they're not strong. Like, the chats tonight have been insane. Sorry to the viewers that have been sitting here waiting for the scrims. I know that you guys are here. I appreciate you still hanging out and lurking. I really do. We can run some scrims after. I don't know if Sam's gonna hang out because he is lit.
No, I gotta get to bed. I gotta go.
I figured as much. Flakes, how you feeling?
I'm okay. It is kind of late for me too, though. At the same time,
We
can do whatever you want.
I want to get ran.
Well, dude, you crossed that international date line last, bro. Holy crap! It's late for everyone else. Even my viewer, like,
I'm sitting at 9 p.m. right now. I'm feeling hot.
Okay, all right.
Your boy's hot. I still got 3 more hours to go. It's not my fault y'all live on the wrong side.
I'm getting fucking old, man. I can't be up this late.
I'm almost 30. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm almost 30. Diffizzle's like the baby here, I feel like.
I'm getting old. I have 3 kids and I turned 30 in June.
Okay.
Test me.
Okay, you're the grandpa.
Yeah, exactly. Well, shit. Hold up. I had you had another question. Hit it. 30 youngins. Steel, I know how you feel. I gotta scroll up because I saw a couple questions flew by. Redeemer said something about what do you feel about no duplicate subclasses in Trials? Do you think that'd mix it up and still make it fun to play?
Yeah, I think that'd make it fun to play. I'd love to see restrictions like that. It's just that's game, obviously. Like, and I think Bungie, like, they don't want the game that they want everyone to be able to do whatever they want, and
yeah, it won't happen. It's never happened before. I don't think it'll happen, and they won't restrict people in that way, for sure. Redeemer's a Top Tree Dawn main, right?
Yeah, he is.
There it is.
Yeah. No, I don't think they'll restrict people in that way. Like,
I think it'd be cool to see. I mean, that'd be more like a tournament than anything else. But could you imagine every Trials card being a tournament? Holy shit!
But they don't want to lock people out of things because of a class. I feel like they want people to game. They want people to play their game at the end of the day.
They want people to play their game. Give them something to chase.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. If we wanna break it down to nuts and bolts, and I've had this conversation for 14, 15 Scrim schools now. Bring us something to chase. That would bring people back into the ecosystems. Like, who's going into comp going, I just want to hit legend. I'm already unbroken. I've already got
No shit.
right.
But
Like,
that was the point I made earlier with Luna in Not Forgotten. I don't even care if it's a, you know what? Make it a dog meat weapon. Make it the worst weapon ever. But people will still chase after it. I swear they will. I swear they will.
Some will, some won't. I mean, for example, they've added dog meat weapons like the
Komodo.
layered fusion. I never got
Komodo. I love the Komodo, dude. I have some clips
Yeah,
from
but
Komodo. That tracking in air was stupid. I hit a
True,
jump
but that
shot
wasn't-
on Burning Shrine from across the map.
That wasn't like a reward at the top level of comp, like a trophy weapon. They could make it the Traveler's Chosen, like.
Dude, my point is like I play comp all the time, like, or I did, and I do sometimes. Like I play it pretty frequently, and like I didn't go for that because it's just like it was a weapon to chase, but I just didn't care. Like it. I think the best thing to do is give us cosmetics, like seasonal cosmetics. I think that
Okay.
work good. I think that's the
I
easiest
can
thing.
vibe with that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, if you create armor sets that are like you, dude. I mean, you have an entire community that would like is at your beckon. Okay, they will. That's one thing they should do as well. Is like have the community help them with designing armor. A lot of talented artists in the community.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
instead of recycling armor from 4 years ago, maybe we could have some new armor that actually.
That's
not-
specific to reaching
Yeah.
a certain rank. Like,
Yeah, you could do
Or
that
like-
for Guard. You could do. One thing I wish
The
Gambit.
Sword, yeah.
I wish Gambit was gone. Like I hate Gambit. It's. I don't. Well, I just feel like it's a waste of resources. Like and they're apparently very like low on resources. So
Gambit was a ton of fun until I went for 21% Delirium. Now I fucking hate it.
I feel like Gambit is one of those. It's one of those things that I feel is a failure. Destiny franchise, and I
Okay.
feel like that's something that they. I feel like Trials is also a failure. Like it's something that did not work, isn't working right now. Like the player base is really low, and I think you could classify it as dead. To be honest,
Sure.
and I think things.
dude.
Those numbers are hella low, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm saying. And I think with things like that, like as a developer, they need to be able to acknowledge like when those things aren't working. They need to like either find out a way to fix them effectively or move on to something new. And I think if Gambit was removed, they don't even put a lot of time into Gambit, but it would give them more time to focus on the core things like PvE and like the Crucible and the Strikes in particular, because I feel like those are things that are lacking, and without Gambit being a thing, it would give them to put it.
Sure. I mean, like I said, Gambit was fun at first, and then it lost its allure really fast. It really
Yeah.
did.
That's why, for me personally, I consider it something that has failed. And
But then I think about that, and then I think about Trials and the fact we had, 100,000 players the entire weekend across all platforms?
Mhm.
That's the lowest, Trials has been in since, before they locked it out again. Trials at 900K was their shut-off point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, currently the numbers we're pulling for Trials, I would consider it a failed and dead playlist. Like it's something that they should, I think, should remove. Quite honestly, I think they should remove it. I would love for them to remove it till they find a way to make it worth playing. Because currently, having people play it every other weekend, for me, it just, I don't know. I feel like as a content creator as well, like a PvP content creator, whenever Trials is out, I don't feel like I could do anything else. Like, I feel like I have to play Trials, and it would just, I don't know, there's not really a lot to do in the game, I guess. So, it's not an awful thing, but...
That's really funny. So, I'm looking at both screens right now. You're both playing Trials.
Yeah.
Sam, you're playing Muffins, and Flakes is playing Redeemer.
I'm pretty sure I get 05'd in this game.
I don't blame you. It's Redeemer and Leg. Like,
and Lumi, I think. Wait.
yeah, and Lumi. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, it's Lumi.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I get 05'd in this. 100%. But yo, Redeemer, get wrecked, homie. Get wrecked.
Get wrecked.
bro.
05. Get wrecked. I killed you once with Shatter Dive. Get wrecked.
I didn't. I think I dropped a donut, dude.
Dude, that's
Yeah, I
my
was holding
favorite.
back. I was holding back. I threw for them 100%.
Oh, you were throwing on purpose? Got it. Noted.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of backing out, you wanted to give them the content.
Exactly.
Respect.
Exactly.
I just thought that was funny. I looked up
Jesus.
and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I know both of those.
Actually, in one of the VOD, or at one point in my VOD, in Flakes, actually, I was playing. Like, him and I were playing each other in 6.
Really? I saw
Yeah,
Flex was playing against Sides earlier, and
Yeah,
you
you
were
played-
just like
It was
slapping
actually,
your head.
just after Sides, or just before Sides, rather. I was.
But that goes to show you, because this VOD is from like not that long. Like the Destiny community is so small, and we were just making this point before. Like the amount of people that are actually even quick play. Holy crap! Like you're only gonna meet cracked people, and that sucks because it is. Do you guys think it's skill based or is it connection based? I think it's connection based.
What?
Connection.
Quick play? Quick play is connection.
100%. I think so,
But-
because you'll meet people who have no idea what they're doing.
Let me preface that with, but I play at 4 a.m. Pacific time, and I swear to God, my chat's favorite joke is I'm on a jet, because at least 80% of my games are against East China or Japan. Like that's, dude, we will open up the roster and we will be 6 stacked, all US, open up the roster and the entire enemy team is China. Like not hey, I have Chinese letters, but I'm actually an American player, but like their clan name and clan tag is written in Chinese. Like,
that's nuts.
we match that 80% of the time in the mornings.
Like,
I'm just like, what the fuck?
that must mean that there's nobody playing at that exact moment when you're playing, because that's the only way, right? If it's
It
connection
really is.
based.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
true.
Thing is,
It's outrageous.
They've lied in the past. Like, I don't know why, but they have lied. Like, they've lied about things like that. So you just truly can never know with them.
Well,
they've
if you look
literally
at-
lied.
If you look at like so Scrims, as far as Sam's concerned, he is beat, so he's doing the chats instead. Flakes, we might run a couple to answer your question, Matt, and then we'll jump back into what you were saying, Sam. I wanted to answer that one because I know Matt's been hanging out waiting. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying they've lied about that. Like, they've lied about, whether or not it's connection based or skill based. Like, back in D1, they swore up and down the wall it was connection based.
Yep.
And then they said they were removing skill based at one point, and like the entire time they were saying connection based, and they've lied about it. Like I
It's
said,
weird. I feel like it might be a mixture, like at times. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
if this failed, then they go to the other one type thing. I don't know.
Right.
it's one of those things, like transparency and communication is not. It's very lacking. Always has been.
Right.
And that's intentional on their behalf. Like they want to not talk about what goes on behind the scenes. They've said that. Like
No,
It's been-
'cause-
Well, I mean, people were
ahead.
calling out.
Sorry.
People were calling out Dylan with skill base when this season dropped, and he posted on Twitter. He's like, I went back to the team and asked, and it's not skill based. It's connection based. It's just such a low ecosystem. It really is, because the only people that are touching PvP now are people that play PvP, because there's nothing to chase. Like, why would a PvE main that can go run strikes or go run raids play quick play? Like, what's their incentive?
Yeah, no. Right now, I don't think that's the case. And if it was, I mean, my God, I hope it's not. But it has been at some point in time, and that was my point. Is that it's like, they're not. They just need to communicate more and parent about more. Like, and you can never be like you can always communicate more. Parent, always. Like, it's never going to hurt you like on it about what you're doing. What what is actually happening.
True.
What's weird is I feel like maybe they're trying to get like statistics, or like they're trying to see how many people are actually in it if they enable this, but if they enable a different type, then they'll see how many people play it that way. Like they're trying to get metrics type thing, and that, I don't know. I don't like being a part of a sample. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like anybody really does, but for a lot of casual players, they might not even notice it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, that's a good thought process on it.
But if they said something to the population, like, we're enabling skill-based matchmaking, that might skew it. So that's why they wouldn't say anything.
Well,
you know what I
if you
mean?
look
They're
at
like, oh,
something
well, I'm
like-
not going to play quick play this week.
Right.
Hell no. You know?
You know
That's
what, though?
everything.
If you look at something like Iron Banner, and this is something I noticed this season, is Iron Banner is skill-based. It says it.
Mm-hmm.
In the description, it says skill-based matchmaking.
Not.
It does.
I didn't
promise.
feel like it was, though.
It does say it's skill based, but it's actually skill based.
So you think it says it to
No,
see what people
It's
do?
literally not. It's not. No, I don't know
I don't
why.
feel like it is.
No, it's literally not skill based. Like, it is connection based. I promise you. It
Interesting.
used to be skill based, but they swapped it to connection based shortly after they swapped. So
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
can see
could
that.
feel that, because if it were skill-based, there would be no reason you could put up like a 20 streak.
I
in
actually
that.
used to like Iron Banner back when it was skill based because the games were hard.
Right.
I can understand why some people didn't do that. I enjoy connection based as well, but I always thought Iron Banner was hard activity that can. So,
well, it was a higher level to get, missions done. Now it's you mercy, they mercy, you mercy, they mercy.
yeah, but no, it's connection based. QP and Iron Banner are connection based. The only things that are skill based in the game are survival and rumble and elimination. Those are the only skill based playlists that the only skill based playlists they've said that are like skill based. Everything else,
Interesting. Oh, chat's saying it's skill based, but not the normal skill based. It has to do with the number of Iron Banner wins, not your actual skill.
I don't know about that one. Pretty sure, like, it's literally connection based. I'm pretty confident about that. I'd have to go back and find.
I'd love to figure that out because that'd be an interesting one to see.
No, I'm like almost 90% sure it's connection. Like, I
I love
remember.
running Iron Banner. I think it's fun no matter what it is, skill based, connection based, whatever. I have a blast with it. I really do. But I go in and I meme out, I'm running off meta loadouts. I'm going in with lower light levels. One thing that we'd love to do every time that the Iron Banner's up is we do a gun game where you start out with white weapons and you can't advance to green until you get at least a 1.0.
I just go in and like go for it.
Full send.
That's what I do. That's what I like.
You're ruining
to
the
do.
game, Sam. You are toxic.
No.
You're
Sorry,
ruining
Chiefs.
the ecosystem. Nobody wants to play anymore.
It's got to get better. You
That's true. Get better. Learn what you did wrong.
Yep.
And I'd like to point out that I was one of the first to go up through all of the weapon types, while Taylor Reaper was stuck at white for 8 games. I think Zero was stuck too. Let me preface that real quick. My chat's sitting here flaming me right now. Don't mind me. Next 3 non-sub. Don't do it, Brian. God damn, dude. How do we let's if you were able to go to Bungie next week, right? You were able to walk into Bungie HQ in Washington, sit down with their devs, and say one thing. out of the entirety of the game, one thing that you'd want tuned, what would it be?
There's so many things.
Just one, because that's that whole thing is everybody's got all these ideas, but they can't focus. So one thing that you could have them focus on.
Currently, it would be remove stasis, like literally remove it, like from everything, or maybe just from PvP. PvE, I don't think stasis is an issue, but yeah, probably currently at this point in time, it'd be remove stasis.
Let's skip that one because that's the easy one. What's one thing besides obviously remove stasis? One specific thing.
It's gonna be my other one. Is separate the sandbox, but it's a very complex ask.
Right. That's a team thing.
Yeah.
That's a resource thing, really. Let's be honest.
It's a resource. It's a team. It's a time. Like,
Flakes, hit me. One thing.
I don't even know, man.
On the spot. One thing.
I wouldn't be able to. 100%. I wouldn't be able to. Like, I just feel like the season's like in such a bad place in general.
Okay.
Like, I still love the game. I still play the game and everything. This season is my least favorite of all of them.
Okay.
For sure.
Interesting. I love this season personally.
I would say fast forward us to the next season.
Stasis sucks, but it's beatable. It really is. And I will die on this hill. Stasis is beatable because
it's beatable, but it's a fucking Mulder, man. Like, it's so frustrating to play against if you're not used.
Yeah, but so the weird thing about stasis is like the better team wins still, like 75% of the time. Oh, but that 25% swing, I don't know. I'm making up numbers here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like sometimes you get beat by teams that like normally wouldn't because of stasis.
True.
And that's what I don't like.
True. I can agree with that. However, you can absolutely bait the nade, and the people that usually are 0.7s that are winning because of their stasis slams panic the fuck out as soon as they miss their nade, and they're an easy cleanup. Like, they miss their nade and they're like, oh shit, and then they die. Right?
The thing is like when you're playing it, like let's just to put it into perspective, let's say you're playing a team, you're on a team of 2.0s, like you're all 2.0s, you're all fucking going for it hard, and the other team's all 2.0s going for it hard, and you're all using Ice Wall Slam. Like, it's a little bit different then. Like,
True.
It's not really the 0.7s that I'm worried about. I'm worried about like
running stasis.
Well, it's not like him in particular. It's just people in general, like that are. It's just not hard. Like the skill ceiling, the skill ceiling and like skill floor has like gotten closer exponentially. And that I'm always going to be opposed to that. I want like good players, and people that are like mechanically talented, like aiming, map awareness, and map knowledge, and stuff like that. Like I feel like that should be rewarded more than like ability.
Sure.
To some degree, you have to use map knowledge and awareness and player positioning to use that ability, but it's the execution of it all, right? So like executing an Ice Wall Slam is not very demanding mechanically.
No, you don't have to be exact, you have to be close. You know what I mean?
Not even really close, and like it's just very forgiving, and I don't like that. I like to, like punish players for making.
Well,
that's a really good point, and like that's how I feel about 120s too, as compared to like 150s in the previous meta. Like 150s, if you hit 3 headies and the opponent missed one, then you won. As opposed to now, like you'll trade a ton, or you'll get team shot. I don't know. Like I feel like 120s are really forgiving too.
Yeah, I think to some degree, yeah, they are. It depends, really.
120s are very forgiving for sure, but again, they're beatable. Stasis punishes people that don't want to adapt from holding W and forward.
I see. The thing is to some degree, yeah, but like, dude,
you can bait a corner and the nade comes down, right? Especially like, I would love to actually this is one of my favorite questions that I missed throughout it because we've just been chatting. What are your favorite counters for stasis? And what have you found besides using stasis? Because I've ran anti-stasis for 2 weeks and I can point out counters, but I want to hear your guys' other counters against it.
None. I don't
None?
counter because using any other
None
counter,
that are consistent. Like,
well, it's just a waste of energy time. Quite like, there's no point in using it else. For me, like, I'm one of those people that like I don't care to use anything that's like off meta. Like it's I don't know. I just want to win. Really, like
Right. And I mean, you're doing things like recubs, which is obviously the
Yeah.
fastest way to wins.
Yeah. I want to do what is the most effective. I don't want to put myself at a disadvantage. And to be honest, like, but stasis that, so.
I'm not gonna lie though, I've gotten more kills with spec blades than stasis.
I feel like, okay, Top Tree Dawn, okay, that's like a go-to for a lot of people because it has the movement to get out of a lot of freeze abilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's a go-to. If you get slowed, you can still Icarus dash. Like,
true.
That I would say would be the number one go-to. Other than that, I can't really think of anything that like really completes. If you get slowed in your spectral, you're still screwed.
You can still light attack out of it. Did you know that?
You can what?
You can light attack. If you spam your light attack, you'll break out of stasis and you can still kill the guy that's pushing up on you.
Like in super?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That
I think.
Sure. But I mean, like neutral game.
So
I'm not talking like.
I think dodge should get you out of stasis.
I think so too.
If Icarus dash gets you out, and if shoulder charge, right, gets you out of it, or Titan's melee can break you out of the ice, I think dodge should get you out as well.
That's the thing though, is like that's only for the dusk. That's not for.
Yeah, that's Duskfield for sure.
Literally
Icarus
only.
dash doesn't get you out. Yeah,
yes,
but you can like bait out supers.
True.
Or, I'm sorry, you can bait out the nades really well with Top Tree Dawn.
And that's why I was asking what your counters are, because you can Icarus dash back from a Glacier nade and clear the nade from the shatter.
Yeah, you can do that. But what the problem is, that's like the only one I can think of that has like, we need more movement abilities for the other classes if they're going to compete with something like that, because like Top Tree Dawn's the only one that can do that like consistently.
Oh,
or
I've dodged
Behemoth.
Away. I've dodged
Behemoth's
away
like
nades consistently because I know that they're going to throw a nade at the corner.
I mean, I don't think dodges aren't always on a high cooldown. So like my dodge cooldown is 24 seconds. So,
True.
Yeah.
After the nerf, obviously, I can't use it as often, but same with the Glacier nade, right? The Glacier nade is still got a cooldown.
Yeah, it does, but man.
It's rough.
It also has something that decreases the cooldown, and then you can wear a pair of boots that decreases the cooldown even more.
True. And then you can stat farm directly towards decreasing the cooldown, and
and there's people that do. I mean, I use Frosties, and I have like 20 discipline on my build. Like I have like no discipline at all, but it doesn't matter. I still get it really quick. I just, like I said, in my entire time playing Destiny, I don't think I've ever encountered anything as oppressive and as frustrating to play against ever.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
it's very frustrating for sure. But it forces a different playstyle. It really does. And that's what everybody's screaming about is they're like, I just want to hold forward and shotgun. Well, you can't anymore.
It's
you hold
not
forward
even.
and shotgun, and you're gonna get slammed.
It's
But
not.
that's the
It's,
point.
it's
That's
not
the point I was
entirely.
making with like 150s. I thought those required a higher amount of skill than like 120. Like I feel like everything about what they did was sort of like, hey, let's lower the skill ceiling, and bring more new people into the game
Sure.
with abilities.
Yeah, that's what I feel as well.
Yeah, and I mean we're less than a month out from the new season, right?
Yep.
So obviously they've, for what little Bungie has obviously given us for PvP, the last TWAB has said specifically, we're working on stasis. We nerf this, and this, right?
Mhm.
They're also watching things like Behemoth. Behemoth's super is way too fucking long.
Yeah.
Like,
It is
Damage
too
resistance,
long.
too.
True.
It's OP.
It's so long. Like, it feels like year one striker, right? But they said that they're watching it, which means it's probably going to get adjusted next season. Which actually brings to a really good question. What do you hope for next season to see changed? And don't just say Stasis gone. I need something better than that.
I mean, hopefully they continue to nerf Shatter Dive, and with fissures, they bring down the damage duration of. I think, by the way, that's probably going to be the last question for me. I gotta go to bed.
I can tell you're fading.
Yeah. I told you, man, I'm getting old, man.
Bro, I feel it. I appreciate you being on here. Sam, if you could do me a favor before you bounce out, post all of your socials in chat. Let's I know,
Let me get them.
hard work. Have you been laying in bed answering all these questions?
No, I'm not in bed. I'm sitting in my
Oh, I
chair.
was like, it's fucking amazing.
No.
Bro, I've seen your chair. It's pretty much a bed at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's one of my chairs. I don't know which one you've seen. I'm assuming the X Racer.
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't the one that was wrapped in tape and plastic, right?
No, I saw that one too.
Oh, okay.
Bro, I was dying when I saw those. Like, they were so good. I was like, oh my
yeah.
god. That's gamer. That's when I
That
tagged
is-
you in the hotel chair and I was like, hey, a replacement for you.
Yeah. It's definitely gamer.
We're scrimming after this. And then we'll continue the chats with Flakes if he's still down. Otherwise, we'll just run some scrims and chat some more with chat. Because I'm still going. I
could probably play a couple. I could play a couple with you for sure.
Hell yeah. I got another 2.5 hours. So, Flakes, if you want to do the same. Also, the running joke here is if you have an OnlyFans, post it in chat. And I only have to say that because we've only had one person post their OnlyFans.
I don't have an OnlyFans.
Okay.
Nope.
So,
Nope.
So, the only person that we've ever had to post an OnlyFans was Nighthawk.
No.
Nighthawk
What?
has an OnlyFans, and it's actually in chat right now.
What? Dude, no way.
Greatest
I don't. I'm
OnlyFans
afraid.
Ever. No.
I-
I opened it up on stream. It's fantastic. Not
Okay.
even kidding.
Like, okay, unironically fantastic. Let's okay.
Unironically fantastic.
You
Okay.
guys enjoy your OnlyFans. I'm gonna go to bed.
All right,
Yeah.
Sam. Thank you for being an awesome guest, brother. Appreciate you being here. That was a
Yep.
ton of fun.
Yeah, enjoy talking.
Good chatting, man.
Dude,
Yeah.
we'll definitely have to do this again soon.
Yep, I'm done. I know what
Alright.
to expect.
Yep,
That's fine.
exactly. And then next time we'll get you in for some actual scrims.
Yep.
Get some sleep before.
Yep. Good night, guys.
All right.
Later,
Night
homie.
Diffizzle. Chat, say good night to Diffizzle. Thank you for being here. Flakes, let's play some games.
Sure, man. All right, let's get it.
Did you click Nighthawk's OnlyFans?
I did not.
You should.
No, I'm not going to.
Trust me, it's worth it. I promise.
It will not happen.
He's the only one that has a command as a post guest because it's worth it.
It's that good, because it's that good.
It's that good. I promise you it's worth it.
All right, hold on. Okay, let's see this thing. OnlyFans. Wow, what is that? Holy crap, that's amazing. No, that's actually really funny. He did that.
I told you. I wasn't
great.
kidding.
That's great. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
wasn't
guys should definitely hit that up. Oh my god.
No, I was serious about it. Like, it's so good. All right, we're gonna go to a be right back screen. We're gonna switch off of the chatting portion. We're gonna go to the practical. You guys can ask Flakes some more questions for however long he decides to hang, and then we're gonna keep on rocking through. Let's switch over.